Good morning, day 33, the final day on the way into Santiago de Compostela. I think it's about 11 kilometers into the cathedral this morning, and quite a pretty walk as you can see around me. Yeah, D-Day's a little dramatic, but but I get where their head was at. Somehow it feels quite final, and it's almost like a little bit of a grieving process walking down this path into Santiago, because we've gotten used to this routine, this life in a way, over this period of time. We've gotten used to these friends, these people, and yeah, we're coming to the end of that. This little bubble, as it were, but you know, a beautiful bubble and some incredible shared experiences and amazing chats. It's been something special. Yeah, I actually feel a bit emotional just thinking about it. It's, I've never experienced anything like it before. I was reflecting this morning about, you know, some of the key themes of my Camino, and it looks like I've got some direction on those now. And just looking back over the past, it's easy to beat yourself up and kind of focus on your errors. Not so easy to look at all the things you did well at times, but a really cool expression I've heard said is like, try to make better mistakes next time. So it's not like you can avoid mistakes completely. Like, we're human, we're always going to make mistakes. It's part of the game. Key thing is to try and learn, and yeah, not you know, asking yourself to not make any mistakes next time, but asking yourself to make better mistakes next time. It's been a real privilege making these little videos and sharing my experiences and the encounters I've had with different people, and you know, the thoughts that popped into my brain as I've walked the Camino. Yeah, I guess I hope that, you know, the regular the regular people tuning in have, and also the people that stumble across it in the future, somehow have some benefit from it, and I'm able to share a little bit of the spirit of the Camino, and yeah, that it helps in some small way. News just in. You'll remember I shared a little about the power of the rosary, or the benefits of the rosary. That wacky old lady tradition, the beads and string with the cross on the end. Well, it turns out today is the feast of Our Lady of the Rosary. So it's the 7th of October. 7th of October? Doesn't sound right. Yeah, it's the 7th of October. And it's the feast of Our Lady of the Rosary, so pretty special day to be arriving in Santiago. I wanted to share as well that actually the guy who sent me the book, if you remember, a mate of mine from Australia sent me a book on the rosary, and I didn't say much about his background, but he's I won't say too much because his ego is, you know, he struggles with that, but you know, he's an interesting guy, and also an engineer, and did very well in his career as well. Climbed quite high in the mining game in Australia. Could have kept going higher, I'm sure. But now he's doing his own consulting work. I'm not saying that as a network. This isn't LinkedIn, but more to say that I think it's cool to share that, you know, I was a senior vehicle dynamics engineer at McLaren. This mate of mine, it's actually, no, I was a good one too, according to everyone who assessed my work, one of the best. And it's probably my ego kicking in. And this mate of mine, you know, also an engineer, so with a scientific background, and you know, does well in his career in mining. So just to share that not everyone who believes in God is an illogical, unintelligent. I don't want to add any more bad demographics, but you know, there's actually some interesting people around who believe in this stuff and think about it deeply, possibly more deeply than the average. In fact, definitely more deeply than the average, and find some benefit in it all. So, if that sounds appealing to you, dial 1-800 I want to be a Catholic.com. No, but yeah, I think just follow your own journey. Catholicism and Christianity is all about building a relationship with God, from what I can tell, and ultimately feeling the love of God, falling in love with God, really. And that's you know, a beautiful thing to have in your life. I think some people think of Christianity as a ticket into heaven, or some, you know, system of putting yourself kind of as a holier person than other people, but ultimately it's completely a personal journey. We're all gonna die someday, and it's about living the best life you can, actually. And a lot of the things, you know, it teaches you not to do is more, you can also, as I said, look at that in the vein of, if that's not what to do, then what do you do? So it's kind of helpful, handy hints on how to lead a good life. But yeah, I realise that stuff gets quite a bad rap, and possibly, you know, does get taken out of context. You know, so I mean, some of the Christian criticism, I'm sure, is warranted in certain cases. I mean, the other key point in all of this is that, you know, I was chatting to somebody yesterday, and like, yeah, there's a lot of different people with different beliefs on the Camino. There's some people believe in God, there's some people believe in, you know, a higher power. There's some people sort of, they like the idea of the universe. There's all sorts of different spiritual kind of models or figures in our heads, which kind of ultimately just help us, you know, conceive of something inconceivable. But it can be very helpful, and so you do have that ultimate deity. Then you have like the spiritual kind of sense, and for me that's kind of almost like the, you know, a feeling of the love of God spiritual water, the communication maybe even of God. And then finally you have religion, which is like in effect a human, in my understanding, a human construction, which brings with it the good points of community. Walking the Camino, we need each other. The Camino De Santiago and the Camino of life, we need each other. When we walk alone, it's pretty dull. We get lost in our own thoughts and things get a little unpleasant sometimes. Same in life, we need other people around us. We need our relationships. We need those we love, our besties, or our bestie, and our good friends. We need that, and in a sense, I think a church can be thought of as, a group of like-minded individuals who are kind of just walking along the same path and trying to help each other out in a little way. Just being buddies, and same as us here on the Camino, just having a chat, sharing an opinion, giving a recommendation for an albergue or a meal. Same kind of drill. And then obviously there's like everything, there's a dark side to the human aspect. So that's apparent in the Camino, where you do come across some somewhat confronting or surprising human actions. And we all have that's another thing that's spoken about, like Carl Jung would call it the shadow. There's a Christian notion of original sin, a Judeo-Christian notion, and it's very evident to me that we have inside us, and also the yin and yang in Buddhism, we have inside us both good and bad. And and the same goes with the church. This group of like-minded individuals sounds like a hiking club. They also have bad in them, as does everybody. And despite the fact they're going to church, they're praying and they're doing their spiritual exercises, they're still making mistakes. And I think especially the Pharisees, the ones who in effect killed Jesus, they were the ones who were the most strict. They were the ones the most kind of looking down on others. They were the kind of holier than thou folk. Jesus took a totally different direction, and he reached out to the drug addicts of the day, the tax collectors and the prostitutes. And there's a lot we can learn from that example. Wow, this is cool. So suffice to say that there is very much a human element. Check out the rocks in the church, which is unavoidable, and the same in all humans and all human groups or communities. So summing that up, the divine, higher power, God figure, the spiritual, that love, that communication from that higher power, and religion, that community of people searching. thanks to everyone too for the positive feedback while I've been making these videos. It really made a difference and gave me a little boost, and I think as well just the process of making these videos helped me a lot, condensing my thoughts and giving me something to do, kind of a sense of being productive. It's always an awesome feeling when the video finally uploaded, especially with the slow Wi-Fi. So yeah, thank you very much for following along and for feeding back your comments. First side of the cathedral. Shout out to my trusty shoes. Made it all the way after being to South America twice, going to the Arctic Circle numerous times. Good pair of shoes.
Oh yeah, you send us then.
He's so lucky also with the weather.